Hi. So today I want to talk about my findings, my process of getting my head around the concept of the uncarved block that Lao Tzu coined in his Tao Te Ching. And yeah, what the fuck is an uncarved block and why it's like, okay, it's uncarved. So the way I understand it is it means the mind is not dictating to the block as myself what I should be, or what I should strive to be, or what I should not be. Because to strive to be something more, which is common, and to avoid becoming less, which is common, is 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 like a mannerism in which one carve an identity for oneself. And the if the goal is self honesty, you don't want that. You don't want to carve yourself into something better than you really are or something worse than you really are. You want to sort of you don't want to go to either extreme, let's say. And then Lao Tzu referred to the uncarved block as small and empty. So empty would mean, well, as far as I understand it, it means being empty of desires and empty of, and the way to be empty of desires is not like a static, one shot, one moment phenomenon. It's you prove yourself to have no desires over time. And the practical way to do that, in practice, that basically means being here, breathing, and whenever you have desires, to follow those desires, to see what it is after, and also to get rid of those desires in order to see its subtlety. And those two things diverge from the same source, but the goal is the same, is to get rid of desires, is to get rid of unnecessary desires, let's say. Not even that. I mean, even the desires that we think are necessary are actually not necessary. And at least I play a long game of desiring, let's just say, and nobody wins. Nobody wins from me desiring unnecessary things. And why is this block, this uncarved block, so small? Um, it's small because it does not, it as myself, I do not show, display, boast, or brag about myself. And I discard that and I take the other, which is valuing myself, treasuring myself, being shining but not dazzling, and really doing something for myself alone, as valuing myself and treasuring myself, where I don't do a very subtle comparison between myself and others by including others in my valuing of myself. It, yeah, sort of like that. And Why is it? Why else is it small? It's small because I'm I as the uncarved block is small because also because there is no drive to become bigger or become more or to fill to the brim while keeping upright. Uh, yeah, it's a big theme in the Tao Te Ching that subtracting is more powerful than adding, which means making losses. You can make wins, you can make more, you can make something, but you can also make nothing, and you can make losing. You can make lose. You can make losses. And it's said in the Tao Te Ching that the man who gets to hear about learning makes gains every day, makes gains. And the man who hears about the way makes losses. So both are deliberate. It implies deliberate because you have to make it. It's not something already made that you realize that you have made. You have to make the loss. You have to practice reversal. You have to practice weakness. And another reason why the uncarved block is small is because you're practicing weakness. You're making yourself weaker and weaker until you cannot make yourself any more weak, because that is where you want to be, because that illusion of strength or of how strong you are was a self definition that you gave to yourself through playing games in your mind and comparing yourself to others and judging yourself to be this great guy or this great gal. And it's in strengthening yourself that you are able to be weakened. And that's subtle, but it's essential. And uh, yeah, so far that's my understanding of what the uncarved block is. So yeah, thanks. Bye.